This is an AI system that automatically generates, produces, and uploads YouTube Shorts, similar to these ones. As you can see here, they have millions of views and the potential to earn thousands upon thousands of dollars. And this is a step-by-step guide on how to complete this system. But before I start on that, I'm going to quickly give you an overview of what this actually is doing. So at the start, we have some triggers that activate the system until it's ready to go. And we have an idea list, which we generate the ideas from Chatgpt, which I'll show you in a second. And then we grab those ideas and then we split them out. Because with this system, it generates 4 individual clips and puts them together, similar to how these ones are set up. And once we have those ideas, it'll be converted into detailed prompts that will generate the image, which moves us to the image generator. Once we have the image, we go to the video generator, we'll convert the image to a video. Once we have the video, we can create it. This is an audio generator, so it'll be the background sound. And then we go up here to the final render where we merge it all together. We put it in a video renderer, we download it, and we upload it straight to YouTube, all automatically. So yeah, let's begin. So first of all, we need ideas for the video to generate. So for that, we use Chatgpt in a Google Spreadsheet. This is the Google Sheet that I've been using to test the system. And there'll be a link in my school community to a blueprint of this. Or if you want to follow it along, I'll show you how to do it right now. So I'll start off by naming all the categories. These don't have to be exact. You don't have to name them exactly what I am here. But just remember, if you're following along with this video, that you'll have to make adjustments throughout the system that allocate to whatever you name it. So at the start, we have the title of the video, the theme, the overall theme of what is the video about. We have the caption, which is basically the description. We have the 4 ideas, the 4 prompts for each 4 videos that are put together. If it's different type of animals, robots, whatever it is. Then we have a production. We have a status line. Then we have the final link. Go to production, right click, drop down box. And then we need to add 2 options. One for production, and then the other one's done. Color them whatever you want, doesn't matter. I just do blue and green. And then now I select the range. I'll go to around 10. Okay, done. That's saved. Now we have 2 options here. And we do the same thing for status, but for status, we had 3 options. One of them being pending, one of them for publishing, and the other one, published. Apply colors, extend the sheet, put the range, I'll do the same range, done. Okay, perfect. That's basically the spreadsheet setup, that easy. Okay, now our spreadsheet is set up. Let's go to Chatgpt to generate ideas for the videos. So firstly, we need a prompt to give Chatgpt. In my school community here, I have a prompt right here. Feel free to pause the video and type it out if you want. But basically what it's doing is producing these ideas in a table format, which is identical to our spreadsheet we just set up. It's also got a detailed description of what it wants, an example output as well. And at the top here is where we can change things if you want. So give me 4 ideas I have, change it to whatever you want. And then what type of ideas you want. I was testing it before, I did robots. I'll do for this one warriors, with each idea generating 4 types of giants. So it's giant warriors and those to generate. And then let's generate. All right, as you see here, it's done generating all our ideas in the same table format that we have in our spreadsheet. So let's go copy and paste it straight in and done, just that easy. Now, if you do end up having a problem and it doesn't fill out the drop down straight away, just be mindful of capitalization when you're doing these. And then remember to rename your Google Sheet and we're ready to go into N8N. All right, now we're in N8N. We have our ideas generated. Let's start. So I like to have a manual trigger along with a time trigger. Right click, add node, schedule trigger right here. And you can schedule it to whenever you want, as many times as you want, whatever's ideal for you. Then what we want is access to our Google Sheet. So Google Sheets, and then we want to get rows and sheet. Then from here, if you haven't done this, if you are brand new, then you'll probably have nothing here, no Google accounts connected. So what you do is create account, sign in with Google. And then you connect your account here. Continue. And done. Just like that. Now this has access to the information on your Google Sheets account. So what we want is to leave these resources within the same. We want the resource within the sheets, the operation get rows, because that's what we want. Then from the list, we want to grab the spreadsheet that we just made, N8N automation test. Then from here, it's sheet 1, because that's the only sheet within the document we have. And what we want it to do is to go to the production column and grab the first one that is for production. As we go later in the line, it'll automatically change these to done. So that's why we only want the first one for production. It'll change it to done. Next time you run it, it'll go to the next one. So we go to production, value for production. And then one more thing here, we've got to go to options, return only first matching row. Because if it doesn't, it'll return all the rows for production. So this way it's only that first matching row that's for production. Perfect. Now we can connect these and let's test the Google Sheet. Perfect. So now we've got the row number, which is 2, which is the first one on the sheet. It's got all the information that we want from that line. Okay, now next, we only want it to grab the ID, so the each warriors that we generated. And so for that, we can get another node. We want a data transfer, and we want edit fields. Now we're in edit fields, we can see the information from this Google Sheet here. We can click on the field, and then the field that we want is the IDs. So we type in IDs, and we want an array. So that way we can produce all 4 IDs in an array. Now next, you can go in the school community and copy paste this code to get the list of arrays. Or you can copy it out. Or if you want another way, you can just drag the IDs in straight away. But you've got to make sure that you code it properly, otherwise it'll break. So now from here, it's getting all the IDs, going to put them in an array. And there's one more thing that we want as well, which is the theme. So we click here, add string, theme, and then we can drag the theme in here. Perfect, done. Now let's test that. Okay, great. Now we have all 4 warrior giants and we have the theme. The next thing we want is to split it separately. So we want the IDs of our warriors and the theme to be separate. So click add, split out, and we just want to split out our IDs. Simple as that. Test, we just have the IDs now. Perfect. Okay, great. So now another important note, regularly save, even after you do every node, because there's no autosave. So it's just a good habit to regularly save. So the next thing that we want is for it to generate the prompts from these IDs that we have, which is our giants. So for that, we want another node, an LLM chain, a basic LLM chain, sorry. Okay, now we're here. We want to define what we want from here. Okay, so now we want 2 types of prompts, one for the IDs, which is our warriors, and the other one for the theme. So we keep them separate, type in IDs and theme, and then all we do is drag in IDs up the top here. And then at the bottom, put themes here. Now it's going to generate prompts from these IDs. Okay, sorry, quickly, this is future me realizing I made a mistake. So with this IDs and the prompt, you don't want to drag it in from the edit fields like I did, because what that'll do is generate the IDs for all 4 warriors every time, all 4 times. So what you want is you want one at a time. So you only want each prompt to generate once. So the way to do that is to get the IDs from the split out section, which is exactly why we split them out. So we put that in here, expand it, we see it's only going to do one at a time this time. Okay, continue. So next thing we need to do is we need to have a model for it. So there's a lot of models you can actually use, but for the sake of this and the most common one, I'm going to use Chatgpt. If you already have it set up, then you can just click your Chatgpt, but if not, create new credential. So as you see here, we need the API key from OpenAI. So for the base URL, it's already there. So let's go to OpenAI. So once you create an OpenAI account, we can go up here and search API keys. This is where your keys are. Create a new key. Optional, I'll just name it N8N new key. Select a project, default project, create new key. So now it's right here. Copy it, then go back to your workflow, paste it in, save. Done. Now the model that I use is ChatGPT 4o Mini. I feel like it's a good one for this system. Okay, now we have our model connected. Let's go in here, add a prompt. Don't worry about this here. I accidentally generated it without adding the system. Now we need a prompt for it to generate what we want from these original IDs. And once again, we can go to the school community and grab the prompt from here. Or you can pause the video and type it out if you'd like. Then back in the message, we want to click expression and then copy that in. Now we expand it to see the parameters. Now quickly go over this. So basically here we're telling OpenAI that it's a high quality prompt generator. And it'll generate images for models like Flux, which is what we'll use later to generate the images. It gives a bit more detail about everything that it needs. And also very important, never output new lines or quotation marks. Because if it outputs either one of these, it'll mess up the whole chain. And then at the bottom here, there's an example. So now with that done, let's test it. Okay, so as you see here, it worked, but I've noticed that it's generating the new lines, the ends, even though we told it not to. So if that happens, a simple thing that you can do is capitalize never. I'll update the school community if you do copy and paste the template. Okay, so now I have the generator prompt without the new lines. So what I did to fix it was add it multiple times throughout the input that I was giving the OpenAI model. Got it here, and got it here as well. I'll update it in the coding community. So hopefully you don't have this problem at all. Okay, now that's our prompt generation done and everything like that. So what I will do is I'll rename this. It's good to rename stuff and keep it organized. After this is generate prompt. So now as well, if you want to keep things a bit extra organized, you can add a sticky note just to have it categorized properly. Double click, get rid of that. Then I'll have it as input from the original input and generation. And also if you want it to be highlighted more, add the hashtags at the front. So now what's next is our image generation. Okay, so for the image generation, drag a new node down here. We want a HTTP request. We want to post. Then what we want from here is to use this other application called PyAPI. This application basically gets other backend details from other AI models. So once you create an account to PyAPI, you can go to your workspace. And from here, you have backend access to various video models, image models, and plenty of other things. So for the image generator, we are using Flux. And as you can see, you have a task history from testing it out, all these successful ones. But what we want to do is to click Run API, and then it shows the backend information of what we actually want. So firstly, we want the URL, which is right here, and copy and paste that in. Then for authentication, we want generic. Then generic author type, we want header. And then from here, I already have the credential set up. But for you, create new credential. And this is where we put the API key. So if we go back to our workspace here, we have the playground. Once you create your account and all that, you have the API key and your header. But firstly, we want this header. So we can copy and paste that in the name. And then we want to go back and get the key, which is right here. Copy to clipboard, key, paste it in. Save. Credentials have been saved. Perfect. So now from here, we want to send body. And the body content type, we want it to be raw. And then the content type, we want to type in application/JSON. And for the body itself, we can go back to the PyAPI within the Flux model, and it has an example here of what it needs for it to run. And then also my school community, there's a copy to the code right here too. So I'm going to go copy into the body, paste that straight back in, then it works. So basically what it's doing is getting the text from the prompt that we previously generated. It's got a task type text to image, so it's converting that to an image, and we've got the width and the height to be the resolution of a short form video. Okay, so now let's test this out. Click and test at the top. Perfect, workflow successful. Now, so it's good to rename this at the top, text to image, and great. So now it's generating images. So the next thing that we want is a wait node. So click new node, type in wait, and for now I'll leave it at 5 seconds. But what you want ideally, what I do anyway, is leave it at around 2 minutes. And then once this setup's done, remember to go back and change it if you don't do it during the setup. But the reason for this is because sometimes the image generation is a bit slow and it won't keep up in time. So you have that wait, even though it shouldn't take 2 minutes, it probably won't, but it just allows for that buffer. It's especially needed for the video generation. But for now, that's fine. We'll leave it at it's at 5 seconds, but remember to change that later. And then the next thing we want is to actually get the image. So we're generating the image, so now we want to receive it. So a little shortcut, copy this first node, the text to image node, paste it, connect this in. Double click and open it up. The main things we want to change is here. We don't need to send body. There's nothing else that we want to send out. We want to get the image. Toggle that off. I'm going to change this to get image. Then change the method to get instead of post. And what else I'm going to do is execute the previous nodes. So now, as you see, everything beforehand is working fine. And what we want is the task ID. And we want to drag this task ID next to the URL. But one more thing as well, add a slash right there and a backspace to link it up. So now the URL is attaching straight to the image. Perfect, done. The next thing we want to work on now is our video. And it's the same process as the image. So what I'm going to do is copy this first node, paste it over here, connect this in. Now when I open it up, I'm going to change this to image to video. And the setup for this is the same as the image setup, but we're getting a video instead. For the image, when we use Pi API, we use the model Flux. So now with the video, what we want is the model Kingling. So if we open this up, we can see it's a very similar version. It's a very similar process to Flux. And as you can see with the example output too. So what I want to do is go into my school community and copy and paste this. It's adjusted slightly for the videos I want. You can copy and paste it if you like. Get rid of this node, the body that we had for the image. And this is the one for the video. I'm going to execute the previous node so it catches up. As you can see here, it detects everything that it needs. So we have the prompt, which is this big prompt, and we have the image URL, which is the image we just generated. So it's going to combine these two to create a video. Now that's all done. Perfect. We want another wait node next. Copy this in, paste it over here, drag this in. Perfect. But now for the wait for the video to generate, I leave it at 8 to 10 minutes. Again, it's a generous buffer. It shouldn't take more than 5. It'll take a lot less normally. But like, as I said before, this process is designed for you to not be there and it to automatically run. So that more buffer you give it, the less likely that things will go wrong. So I do that. I'll leave it at 5 seconds for the demonstration. Just got to remember to change it at the end. Great. Now, the same thing as the image. We're creating the image. We want to get it. So what we want to do is just copy and paste this node again. Nice and simple. Double click to open it. We're already getting the ID. Everything as it should be. I'm going to execute the previous node. Perfect. Workflow successful. So now just to organize things a little bit more, I'm going to add some sticky notes. So now that's our video generation basically done. We'll have to link it to merge it later on, but for now, don't worry about it. What we're working on next is getting the audio. So the first thing that we want is a limiter. And the reason for this is because previously, as you can see here, it's getting 4 items for ideas, for prompts, for images, for videos. So now we only want 1 background sound to be behind the video. So we limit it to 1. That's done. Now the next thing we want is a Google Sheet. New node, Google Sheet, and we want to update row in sheet. It should connect the credentials as you had before. And then what we want to do is find our test document, our spreadsheet, sheet 1. Now it's fetching on the information from there. While I'm doing this, I'm going to execute the previous node so everything can catch up, make sure it works right. Awesome. Column to match, row number. And then the only thing we actually want to change here is from production to done. So you can really just delete all these other rows. And I'll explain the reason for that in a second. But before we do that, we want to scroll down to the bottom and attach from our first original Google Sheet in our inputs. We want the row number and drag it in here. So now what it's doing, it's accessing the row number that this one singular production line is working off, which is 2, as we see here. So it's the second row in our Google Sheet. And what we want it to do is to change the production status of it to done. As we see here, we set up the drop down before. So if everything works, it'll change it to done. Click test setup, executing node. It says here worked. So now row 2, production done. Go back, row 2, production done. Perfect. So now the next thing we want to do is generating a prompt for the sound. And now, so let's do that. I'll drag out a new node, an LLM chain, basic LLM chain. Now in here, I'm going to define below, define what I want. Now what I want is to go back to this sheet and grab the theme of the video that we're doing. And the way we do that is similar to how we did it just before. What we want to do is scroll down to the original sheet, that like from the first input, get theme, drag it in here. Perfect. So now we've got the theme. We want it to generate a prompt that can be used as background sound. So we'll add a prompt here. And then from here, within my school community, I have an audio prompt generator. Again, you can just pause the video and copy it if you'd like. Copy it, paste it in. Oh, forgot to add expression. Make sure you click expression, paste it in. Now this is basically telling it, use that theme to generate a prompt so we can create audio from it. So now what we want to do with this basic LLM chain is the same thing as before with the prompt generator. We're just creating another prompt generator. So what we do is the same thing. Connect it to another chat model. And I'll connect it to OpenAI, just like I did before. Model Chatgpt 4. Perfect, done. So now here, this is our prompt generator for the audio, done. So what we want to do is create the text to sound. So for this, I'm going to create another HTTP node, get another request from here. But what we're doing is posting a request. So because we want to create sound. And the model that we're using is 11 Labs. So if you don't know, 11 Labs is a text-to-speech software. It's an AI video voice generating software, sorry. Go to app. Once you log in, create an account, you can go to app, click on your account at the bottom left here, API keys. Now here's where all your API keys are stored. But before we get that, we want the URL that is needed for the backend to get the API. And then I have a link in my school community, or you can just type this out, copy, paste it in. Perfect. For authentication, generic, author type, header, the author, 11 Labs. Well, for you, there probably won't be one there. So what you do is create a new credential. And then for here, this is where you type in the API key. So if you're back in 11 Labs, you're in your account, API key, create API key. It gives you a random name, create. Awesome. Your key has been created. Copy to clipboard. Don't worry, I'm going to delete these keys after so no one else can copy them. Go back to here, and that's your value. That's your key value right there. And then for the name of the API key, it's XI API key. But capitalization is very important. So make sure if you're typing it in, you're typing it in exactly like this. Save. Now you've added 11 Labs to your credentials. So now 11 Labs is connected. We want to send it a request. For that, we want the body content type to be raw. Application / JSON, sorry. That's the content type. And since it's our raw input, now we want to input the code needed for it. So back in the community, I have it here. If not, you can type it out if you'd like. Copy. Expression. Paste. Perfect. Now we're waiting for JSON.text, but I've only just connected this. So now what we're going to do, execute previous nodes. As we can see here, we don't want it to have a voice, no voice. Then the distant clanking metals, blah, blah, blah. And what it's done is it's got the text, JSON text from the previous prompt generation that we did. And it will use this to generate the sound. So that's basically the sound generation setup. However, we do need somewhere for the file to download to and for it to be accessible for the further nodes to grab it. I'll explain as I go. And for that, we use our Google Drive account. So click new node, Google Drive. Then from here, upload file. So what we're doing now is getting our audio and uploading it to Google Drive. So to connect your Google Drive account, it's a bit of a process. I'm going to show you how to do that now. So as you see, I've already got mine connected. So I'm going to create another one just for this setup. So there's a link to all the information in my school community. You can just type this out if you want and copy paste it in. And it brings you to this N8N docs page. And it gives you a lot of information on what you need to actually set it up. So to start with, we have to create a Google Cloud account. So we can click here. So once you're here, once you're logged in, click on console up the top right. So once we're here on the console page, if we go back here, we need to create a new project up here. As you see here, I've already got one connected, but I'll click on new project. I'll name it N8N test project and create. So now here, make sure that new project is the one selected. So from here, go to the top left of the navigation menu, API services, library. Now this is the API library where we can connect other APIs through our Google Drive account. So for this purpose, we're uploading YouTube Shorts. Let's type in YouTube. Then what we want to do is select the YouTube Data API version 3, click it, and then enable. Enable that now. Okay, great. Now, so that's connected. Now it's done. We can go back to the navigation menu, OAuth consent. Then now we've got to configure it. So get started. Now from here, we're adding the app information, as you see. So for our app, it's N8N. And then for the user support email, put your email in here. Then from here, we want to click external, then click next. Then from here, put your email in again. Now your email's in, finish, accept the terms, continue, then create. Now we've created that. Next thing we do is we've got to go to branding. And so this is for the app information. Now we scroll down here, add domain. Then as we see back here, if we scroll down in the documentation, it says in authorized domain section, add N8N cloud. So that is what we will do. Copy paste that in, scroll down, click save. Now same thing again, go back to the navigation menu, API, credentials. Then up the top here, create credentials, OAuth client. Then for our application type, web application, the name of it, N8N. Then at the bottom, authorized redirect URLs, click add. Then we go back to our N8 workflow, and then we see this is the authorized URL. So we can just click it and it copies it, go back, paste it in, create. Now our auth client is created. Keep these secret. These are like your passwords, client secret, client ID. What we do is that we copy and paste them into the relevant fields up here. So copy the top one into the top ID, client secret, into the client secret. So now before you click sign in, go back to the Google account. Same thing, API services, OAuth consent. And then now from here, click audience. And then make sure it's publishing app. So click that, click confirm. Go back to the Google Cloud. Click on your navigation menu, API, enable API services. Then up the top here, enable APIs. And then what we've got to search for is Google Drive. And the one we want is up the top here, Google Drive API. Click that, click enable. So now we've given our Google Drive access to the Google Drive API and the YouTube API. Okay, so now that's done. Go back to N8N, sign in with Google, click on your email. Now this verified screen will probably pop up. From here, you click advanced and then go to N8N Cloud. Then from here, you can select all to allow access for the N8N to reach your Google Cloud. Continue. Connection successful. Perfect. Now your Google Drive account is connected. So with the drive connected, make sure all this information is filled out correctly. The resource is a file, we're uploading a file. That's the operation, upload. The input data field name is data because that's what our sound is saved as. You can also view the sound. Sounds all right, that's generated from the prompt. It's 20 seconds long. This is the drives in your Google Drive where you want to save it. So I've got my drive and then the folder I'm saving it is AOYT. Perfect. So now we just need to have the file name. And what I do is I scroll back down to the bottom from our original Google Sheet and I grab the theme of the video that it's outputting. I put that in there and then at the end, .mp3. Now, this will be the name of that sound, of the background sound that we've just created, and it'll be uploaded to this file, and that's where it's saved. Great, so that's done. So the next thing we need is to give permission to this AI system to grant access to our Google Drive. Because a lot of the time, the permissions aren't to grant access to anyone. So we're going to have to do that right now. And the way we do that, grab a new node, Google Drive, and then we can share a file. Now, all this information is correct so far. Your drive account, the resource is a file that we're grabbing. The operation is to share it. We just executed the previous nodes. And now we can see the uploaded file. Then what we want to do is file from ID. And then the ID of the file is this one right here. Then now we have to add the permissions for the whoever to use. So we click permissions, the role is writer, and then the type to anyone. And then we click the check this, allow file discovery. So now this will allow the AI system to locate and use this MP3 file. Perfect, done. So now we can test that. Great. ID anyone, type anyone, writer, permissions have been granted for us to use this file. So now that's the audio done. I'm gonna add another sticky note just to organize things. So now the next thing we've got to do is merge everything together and render the video. So to do that, we want to add a node in the middle here and add a merge node. So we change the mode to combine and we want it for all possible combinations. And that bit's done. And now we have two inputs here. One of them we drag in from this end Google Drive, which is the shared access. So we drag that in the bottom here. Then the other one we drag in from our images. Oh, sorry, the video. I forgot to rename this. And what we do, drag that in there. Perfect, done. Remember to save regularly. And the next node that we need is a code node. So I'll create a new node at the end here, type in code. Perfect. So this code node would act as the output of us merging all the files together. So for that, back in the school community, I have some code here. You can copy it, you can type it out if you'd like. But what this does, it'll list all 4 videos that I've generated previously and the audio. Then from there, we can use those files to create the final render. Let's give this time to process. Okay, great. Now it's done. Now it's got all 4 video URLs here. Perfect. We can even view one now if we want. Looks good. Looks great. So now we have all the assets that we need in the one place. So now what we've got to do is send it off to another request, HTTP request, which is what the next node is, HTTP request. And now we're going to send it off to a video editing tool called CreatorMate. So as I just mentioned, CreatorMate is a video editing tool. The link for it and a template for what we are using is in the community here. But also I'll show you how to set it up now. So you log in, you create an account, you get started, you click templates. Yeah, so this is a template I already have from doing it previously. So I'll click on new, start from scratch. And you want the 9.16 vertical, create template. So now the way we do this is if you open up the source editor, we have the code input here. If you'd like, I'll slowly scroll, pause the video, you can copy the text if you want. But I'll copy and paste it into here. So what this is that we have the audio track, which will be 20 seconds in the background. We also have the 4 video tracks that'll go over the top, which are the ones that we've already generated. And additionally, we have 4 texts, which I'll explain how we link them in a second. But what you want to do from here is click on Use Template, API Integration, and then now this is your curl. You go back to N8N, import curl, paste it down here. And everything is already set up. So it imported the URL because we already have an account. So one thing that's important is that the value here, this is essentially like another key. It says bearer here with a space in between the key. So it should fill it out correctly as it did for me, as you just saw, but just to be mindful of that. Now, the next thing down here in JSON body. So the things we do have to change in here, as we can see with what we've imported, these are all placeholders. The audio track, the videos, and the text. So, and that's kind of why was merged together and split apart as well. So we can all put it in here for the final render. So for the video tracks, all you have to do is grab the URL, put that in video, get rid of the placeholder. Perfect. I'm going to remove these. And then you do the same thing for 2, 3, and 4. And for the audio track, what we want to do is go to where we've uploaded to our Google Drive, which is right here. And what we want is the web content link. So we can move that right there. And now it is read it out. And we can fix that right now. What you want to do is, as we've done previously, get rid of item, type in first. and close the brackets. And that fixes it. Then now for the text. So since there's 4 different videos of different warriors, I would like the text to appear signifying what warrior is what, basically. So what I do is go back down to our original Google Sheet, and then we have idea 1, Fire Shaman Giant. He should be the first one. Perfect. Now it's red again, and we have to do the same thing. Get rid of item, type in first, close the brackets. I'm going to get rid of all this placeholder, and then the same thing. Idea 2, which will be the text 2, 3, and 4. And you replace item with first. All right, so now that's done for all of them. We can open this up, and also we can see here the result of it is we have the sound, the background sound, with all 4 videos that we've created, and we've got the text that'll overlay on top for each of the 4 videos. Perfect, and that's done. I'm going to rename this to render video. Click off and save. Next thing I want to add, it's same as us generating the images and the videos. I want to add another wait node so we can properly render the video together. This one doesn't take as long, but still I just 2-minute wait. As I said before, this system's designed for us to not even be here and for it to run. So I just add that bit of an extra buffer. Okay, so now this is all in place. Let's test it. Executing node. Now it's planned to do. Now it'll go in the wait section to do itself. We'll have to manually do that because we didn't do it through the system. So that's fine. So now the video is rendering. It's waiting. The next thing we need is to be able to download that video. So what we need is another node. Same thing again, HTTP request. And straight away I'm going to rename it because I keep forgetting throughout my process. I'm just going to name it download. Okay, so what we're downloading is the final video, which has been rendered all the way through. Drag it in there, and then we can see the URL for the video is right here. What we can do is see the video that we have just created. Paste that in. I mean, it looks all right. And great, perfect. So that's the final video. So now we're downloading it to be able to upload it to YouTube, which is the next thing that we will do. Another node, YouTube. Then what we want to do is upload a video, which is at the bottom here. Okay, so now with this Google node, you won't have an account credential here. So the way to set that up is create new credential, and you use the same client ID and same client secret from before when you created the Google Drive, when you connected the Google Drive account. So you can go into here, edit and see it, and then copy and paste it over. All right, now you've connected your YouTube account. What we're doing is uploading the video. So the title of the video, if we go back to the input, the schema, scroll all the way down to the bottom, then we have our idea list. And then what I do here is I drag the title of the video in. Then this is going to be our title, but it's the same thing. We want this to be first, open and close the commas. And then that's the title of our video. And the next thing to set up is your region. So wherever you're from, me, I'm Australia, film and animation, because generally with AI generated stuff, that's what we need. And the input binary field is data, because that's what we have received with our final video product. And then there's another thing you can do is you can add a description to the video. So add options, description. And then what I do for the description, because I have the title as the title of the video, I go back down to the input on the Google Sheet, then I grab the caption and put that as the description. But you got to remember the same thing again. Change this to first. And then one more thing you can do, which I definitely recommend, is adding another option for your privacy status. So from here, and then click it unlisted. So that way, once it goes onto your YouTube account, it won't automatically be published without you reviewing it. Or if you want it to be public straight away, just set it as public. And great, that's basically it. That's the whole process to upload it to YouTube. But there's one more thing as well that we'd like to add, and that's to update the Google Sheet at the start so we know that that video is done, ready for our confirmation to be published. So what we do here, add another Google Sheet, And from here, update rows in sheet. That's our Google account. It's the same thing as before. Resources, sheet within document, update row. And the document we want is the one we've been working with, and add an automation test. The sheet, which is the only sheet. Now this is exactly what our sheet is. I'm going to execute previous node so it catches up. Perfect, workflow successful. Okay, with the column to match, what we want to match with is the row number, because that's what we've been working off originally. Scroll back down on the schema with our Google Sheet, it's row number 3. I know it started the video on row number 2. I had some problems before I had to fix it up, but that's fine. Row number 2, and what we do is drag this in here. And same thing, change this to first. Perfect. So now we know this is the row we need to update. And what we're updating is the status for publishing. And another thing, in the final link, which is the final video link for ourselves, URL, we go back to the newest input and the download, drag that in here. So now it knows on the row, the matching row, what it needs to do is to update the status to published, and also to link the video in the spreadsheet. So let's test this. And great, now it says it's done. So if we go back to the spreadsheet, it's right here. As I said, row number 2, it did mess up before, but now it's worked fine, perfectly. So now let's go to the YouTube account. As we see here, this is an old account I used to have. You're already here, which is the video we just watched. It's here, unlisted, ready to publish. These are ones I've been testing out before. So, and that's the whole process. I'll just tidy this up a little bit, make sure to save, and we can test it again. And that's the whole process. So if you wanted to activate it with the scheduled time that you want it to be timed as, and we click off here, you go activate up the top. And yeah, remember to change the wait times. I've got mine 7 minutes at the moment, got 2 minutes, so it just allows plenty of buffer for the AI to generate the images and the videos. So I hope you enjoyed this step-by-step guide. Sorry if it was a bit all over the place, and this is my first time trying to teach people how to do systems like this. Comment down below what system or agent you would like me to build next, and I'll do another guide on it. Thanks.